Video, you will see a practice session of an overhand serve in volleyball. This practice session takes place in week 4 of a 12-week plan. In weeks 1 to 3, our learner was introduced to the various subskills of a serve. Under blocked practice conditions, consistent with the findings of learning techniques specific to an overhand serve by Wolf and Shea, 2002. In this practice session, you will see learners begin to integrate these skills into the execution of an overhand serve and transition into a combination of blocked random practice. It is important to note that our program targets skill stability rather than performance in novel situations, meaning we are focused on retention and not necessarily transfer. We begin with a block style toss and drop drill, where our learner focuses on producing a consistent toss in line with the hitting shoulder. The player sets up in the preparation phase with the ball in their non-dominant hand. The player lifts the ball with a smooth upward motion in front of their appropriate shoulder. The player lets the ball drop in front of them on the ground. They will complete 3 to 4 sets of 12 to 15 reps. This practice aligns with the schema theory, indicating that focusing on one skill early on can enhance learning in the long run, especially when that skill is a prerequisite for both our execution and follow-through phases. During this drill, the coach provides feedback such as the toss is too low. This verbal high-frequency KP helps learners shape correct movement patterns early on in the learning process to ensure stable patterns and consolidation. Next, we add controlled contact to the drill. The player is positioned to face the wall approximately 2 steps away. They will toss the ball exactly as they did previously with the same position. This time, they will go through the full mechanics of the serve with full elbow extension and high contact on the back of the ball to trap it against the wall. They will complete 3 to 4 sets of 12 to 15 reps. You can see here now we are still focused on sub-skills, but with a gradual transition into integration. During this drill, the coach continues to use high-frequency KP, like extend elbow further, to shape prerequisite movements. Frequent KP is appropriate early in learning as it guides the development of correct movement form and supports the creation of a generalized motor program. This is consistent with the guidance hypothesis and early stage learning principles. Next, we will position our player 15 feet away from the wall. On the wall, we will mark an X that will serve as our target. The goal of the drill is to complete the motion of a serve, but rather throw the ball towards the target, aiming to get as close as possible while retaining form. This drill incorporates all subskills but ball toss and contact, allowing practice in the integration of body mechanics. They will complete 3 sets of 6 to 8 reps. They will receive immediate visual KR as they can see how close to the X their repetition is. Each rep will also be video captured, allowing the coach to verbally and visually provide KP directly following the set. We also reduce the frequency of coach-administered KR, given every 2 to 3 throws, as reduced KR is associated with better retention, as seen by Weinstein and Schmidt, 1990. Learners will be able to utilize their intrinsic feedback to see where the ball lands relative to the target, allowing them to make alterations to their movement and self-evaluate. The reduced frequency KR given confirms what the learner perceives and highlights small corrections they may not have noticed. For example, it hit just a few centimeters below the X, closer than it looked from your angle. At week 4, we also introduced blocked random practice with low to moderate contextual interference and shift into drills where learners are forced to make quick adjustments. At the 10-foot line, players will stand across from one another and serve with the opposite player to focus on consistent shoulder follow-through and adjust the force of contact with the ball. The coach will change the distance from the net each time to force learners to adjust accordingly. The next drill will be integrated into the previous drill. Players will serve through shortened net windows as the coach randomly adjusts antenna spacing. The player will be unaware of the serving window prior to the onset of their serve and will quickly set up and complete the rep once revealed. The coach can integrate both drills by taking control and having the players serve from a specific distance, then changing the serving window in a random order to promote long-term retention of the skills. This aligns with schema theory by strengthening parameterization and improving skill adaptability. In both these drills, the coach will provide summary KR at the end of each round of drills, based on serve successfully through the window and to the partner. This encourages the comparison of augmented feedback to inherent feedback and promotes self-adjustment as outlined by the early study from Bilodeau et al. 1959. Each drill will see 5 to 6 reps and will work in a random order. In this video, you saw us go over one practice session of 2 to 3 sessions a week for 3 months, aimed to help teach an overhand volleyball serve. These demonstrations allow beginners and professionals precise visual models to cultivate practice sessions from literature-based strategies. Each of the drills mentioned work in short, segmented portions with natural rest periods to adhere to distributed practice conditions to enhance learning. Throughout the 3-month period, learners will also alternate through varied skills as variability has been shown to lead to better retention. Not every session will look the same, and not every skill will be in the same order. This week 4 session represents the critical transition in the program. Weeks 1 to 3 focus on building fundamental subskills. Week 4 continues their development, but shifts into the integration of the skills into a complete movement. The drills in today's session are placed here because they bridge early skill acquisition with the more complex demands such as increased interference introduced in weeks 5 to 12.